Hey everybody, today is June 17th, 2022. I'm Gene,
And I'm Zane.
and welcome to Hanging with Uncle.
How you doing, man?
Man, I've been so busy. I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on another vacation yet again.
Well, I wish it was vacation. I know it's been what 2 weeks since we've
Or a
done the show.
trip. Yeah, or a trip, yep. True.
Yeah, so I actually flew out to Arkansas because my youngest son graduated Louisiana Tech, got his master's degree, and took a job in Milwaukee. So I flew out here, rented a car, and drove him to Milwaukee, where he is now living in his new job, and drove back to Arkansas. And I'm at my other son's house. And yeah, I'm tired, man. I wish it was a vacation, but I'm really enjoying time with my boys.
Well, more of a trip, but yeah, you're still doing business. You're doing something like that. That's good, man.
Yeah,
You're out and about. That's something. You're not at the house.
true.
You
And you got something new going on too, man. How's the new job going?
yeah. New job's going great. Working from home has been a new huge culture change. The dog's still not really used to it yet. She still is wondering why I'm still here and haven't left yet. Like everything I do, she's ready to go to her kennel. She thinks I'm leaving. I'm like, no, I'm actually staying.
Yeah.
But I got to shadow today. It was really cool watching somebody work, and it's really just a conversation. And like I said, giving the answer to the give answers to the person, or give them their own answers for them to choose.
Yeah.
And from the amount of information that you have, and right now it's just learning all that information. So I gotta get to learn all of it and sponge it into my head. And I haven't absorbed much of the world, so I'm gonna be more of a sponge again right now and try to learn more about what's going on in our crazy world. But let's talk about something that's actually not so crazy first before we get there, because I know you have a lot to bring up about the hearing.
Yeah,
Um,
I've watched every second of the hearings, man. But got to give a
yeah.
shout out, even though they're not my team. But congratulations to the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, definitely. And that's what we're going to start with today. Honestly, they were the team to choose, but I was hopeful the Celtics would win just to have somebody new win. That was kind of the deal. But
Yeah,
I mean, they crumbled, man. They crumbled hard. I didn't see the defense that people were so high in on them before the playoffs started. The regular season defense was a lot better than what they displayed during the playoffs. But
yeah,
I mean, congrats to the Warriors again. Yes, that team's gonna be changed next year. Not Wiggins moving, but other players for sure are gonna be moving around because they need size.
they
And
do. I know if I was the GM, Draymond Green would be gone.
I mean, they just need. Even though yes, he handles his position well, I think a lot of teams haven't tried attacking with their bigs. There aren't very many scoring bigs in the league right now, if you think about it, besides the ones that are all in the Eastern Conference and Jokic, and then there's Ayton.
Yeah, and Aiton. And Phoenix is
But,
crazy for not signing him. That's just my opinion. But
honestly, but they're crazy not going in. I've said it in the last ramble on the show, I'm sure, not going in with him early, getting him going, because he was the early 20 points. Why do we not keep giving him the ball? Why are we giving other people opportunity that are not hitting shots? But we're talking about the Warriors winning the title, and
yeah,
congrats to them. Steph Curry did it again. Woohoo! I'm here, Popper. Pop, woo! I'm celebration.
yeah.
Again,
From the games,
That's
yeah. I'm sorry. I have these
No, you're good.
earphones in, and I'm kind of having a little bit of it. I'm not trying to cut you off. Don't hear you very well.
No, it's okay. You might have. There's a volume button for me on the mics or on Discord if you need to turn me up a little bit to help you out. But I was just saying, congrats to them. It's back to the drawing board for other teams, definitely, sure.
Yeah,
It's that time.
yeah.
But we did not talk about what I'm smoking today. Modern banana. Modified banana. We forgot that part. It's a good one. It's a really good one. Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything. Like I said, I'm in Arkansas, so I have nothing.
As you should.
Yeah.
Modern citizen following law and rule. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it. The meat and gravy of the whole conversation we're gonna have.
Okay.
If you want to start it off, now go ahead.
Well, I've watched all of the hearings, man, and a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, this is all old news. We've seen it before," and a lot of stuff we have. But the things that are new and that are revealed are pretty epic, in my opinion. So,
Okay.
like there's been 3 days. The first day laid out the information they had, where they were going, and talked about sitting members of Congress, and the Congress means the House of Representatives and the Senate, sitting members of Congress that are likely to be expelled as a result of these hearings and the information that's come out. And that came out day one. And that was very, very big to me. Day two, they talked about the big lie and how the Tangerine Terror knew he lost, but disseminated the big lie anyway, just to, start shit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, to be the nuisance that he is. I mean, I heard that all of his advisors, every single one of them, I mean, it's what they're standing on. I'm sure the only plank they have left of survival, saying that they were telling him it's not a good idea to do this. That it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Like everybody, all the guys that he went and reached out to said no, it's not something to do. But he did go and do it anyway.
Well, but here's the thing. So, like with him, he gets an idea in his head. He talks to 50 people. 49 tell him no, it's not a good idea. One says yes, it is, and he goes with that one person. And that one person just happened to be Giuliani in this example.
Gene, you might have to turn me up on your end on Discord if I'm not up all the way. They can't hear me.
I can hear you a little better.
We're getting Brent Nipple said I need to be turned up a little bit. I'm all the way up on my end.
Okay, let me go to mine. Volume.
You have to right click my image on Discord. Just turn that up a little bit. Thank you,
Okay.
Brent. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Brent.
I love we're getting live chat interaction. I love it.
Yes.
If you can hear me.
Is that better, Brent?
I really hope so. I hope it's much better.
I turned it up to 171%.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Do I sound better to you? It's literally the audio that they get from your computer. So whatever you hear is what they're hearing.
Okay. Cool.
So if I sound better to you, then we're good.
Okay.
It's my understanding. So
we're good then.
Yeah. Again, back to the advisors. Yeah, they all advised him, but that's the little plank that they're standing on left before they have to walk, because that's all they have. Them saying that they advised him no excludes them from everything, honestly. But it is all hyper focused on Trump here. This is all his big deal. We're all talking about his big lie and what it has influenced people. And man, go ahead, Gene. You have way more to talk about it, obviously. You go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, not only Giuliani and these other crackpot attorneys with him, but sitting members of Congress that are helping with this conspiracy, like we talked about before. Members of Congress giving tours the day before the insurrection. And that was weird because it was right in the middle of a pandemic. The Capitol was on lockdown. Nobody's supposed to be giving tours. But as it turns out, we know that Congressman Loudermilk of Georgia was giving tours, and the people were taking pictures of the Capitol like they were casing the joint. But notwithstanding, one of my questions was answered because some of those people that were there on the tours were there during the insurrection in those locations because they had the knowledge of where to go beforehand. And that's something we didn't know before either.
Didn't Lauren Boebert, tweet out locations too?
Yes.
Or Bobette, whatever. However you pronounce her name? That. I think Brent says I need to be turned up just a little bit more. But
okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like disclosing locations of people. Like they literally talked about how the Proud Boys were ready to kill the vice president.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. Like we're talking about the vice president. It doesn't matter who he is or what. Like I've explained before. Like it doesn't matter. This is the bottom line: is that they had plans to kill the vice president. They had plans to kill members of Congress, and they didn't go and do it. And then again, this is the media part of me, but like they also are praising you, like, oh well, imagine if we actually went with weaponry and stuff like that. They had shit like that there.
Yeah.
They had countermeasures. They used shit against police. They killed people.
Yes.
So it's like
Yes, they
it's
did.
like there's no diminishing to this. It's like bottom line, they need to, like again, I have missed a lot of the hearing because of new work and stuff, and I've been a sponge all week, and I'm trying to decompress everything, but this needs to be justified completely. Like the way, like it needs to be done correctly, and I'm glad that it sounds like the process is going smooth for once. So
It is. Well, and here's something else, just from my perspective on that, something that I think is really big. On his speech at the Ellipse before the insurrection, before they rioted the Capitol building, he's trying to say it was just my free speech, First Amendment. I wasn't inciting anybody. But they're showing people walking from the Ellipse to the Capitol who are saying that the election was stolen, which proves they were believing the lie and were incited by the Tangerine Terror's rhetoric.
right.
So for him to say I had nothing to do with it is bullshit. It's right out there in the open. People were saying Trump invited us. He called us here to do this, to stop this deal. He incited the riot, and he needs to be imprisoned for the rest of his natural life. And then they should cremate him and put his ashes under the foundation.
Jeez. I mean, you can't go wrong with that though. Like he if he was there, I'm sure it would have been like a different outcome, honestly. Like it's not like a whole like myth that like there's a hero buff deal. Like if he was there inciting more and more and more, a lot more could have happened. Definitely, I feel like. But of course he stayed back somewhere else, out of pocket, out of mind, trying to just keep himself away from everything and try to dismiss himself from it. But what happened on the 6th wasn't something fake.
No.
What happened on the 6th wasn't something that it needs to be like diminished. Yes, this is a huge big deal, and this hearing again needs to definitely punish the correct people.
Well, let's go back to the Ellipse.
Guys are standing on planks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping these guys that are standing on planks that are, trying on the plank, trying to dismiss themselves, still get what they deserve. Because I'm sure there's a lot of them that were a part of this.
Well, I mean, let's go back to the Ellipse and what the Tangerine Terror's intent was to incite the crowd. Remember what Giuliani said there? He went Game of Thrones on him and said, let's have trial by combat. And what did they go down to the Capitol and do? They used combat. Like you said, police officers died. They, attacked police officers with the flag of the United States and the pole it sits on. And, it's just, it was crazy. Anyone who thinks he did not incite that or cause it to be incited or conspired to have it incited is delusional, which brings me to another point that happened yesterday, which really slammed home a point you and I have talked about a lot before, about playing politics as a team, like you're picking your favorite sports team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's one of my big takes.
Yeah. So my analogy was, how you have two teams, let's go SC UCLA, crosstown rivalries, right? And USC's quarterback is on performance enhancing drugs. And if you're a USC fan, what do? Do you condemn it because it's wrong? Or do you support it because it's going to help your team win? And that is what
they would hop on the bandwagon the lie. Like, oh, it's for a medical reason. Oh yeah, he needs it for his medical thing. Like, don't worry about it. I'm sure that's exactly what they would do.
Well, and that's exactly what they tried to do. My dumbass of the week, so I'm not going to say his name, but one of Trump's attorneys was talking to Greg Jacob, the vice president's legal counsel, right? And they were trying to make the argument to tell this dumbass that, the vice president does not have the authority to reject the electoral votes. It's a ceremonial role only. Let's go back to the 2000 election with Gore and Bush, and one state of Florida where it was decided by 586 votes, right? And Al
continue to push up Arizona too.
Right, but Al Gore was vice president at the time, and he didn't say nope, send these votes back to Florida. He did what he had to do, what his job was under the Constitution. He read the electoral votes, declared George Bush the winner, and stepped aside. And he should have, because he had a personal stake in it. He was running for the same office. So the vice president should not have that authority. And then they asked him.
Yeah, that whole...
Well, they asked him, and in 2024, Kamala Harris is vice president. If Republicans win, do you think Kamala Harris should have the right to say, no, send it back? Don't declare the rightful winner the winner? And he was like, no, that wouldn't be good either. But he finished it with, but we should do it now because it's going to help our team. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. All they care about is their party in power.
Yep, they had their own concerns. They didn't care about the government. They don't care about the rules. They just want their own stake to win. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was saying with the push for, like you said, for Florida reminded me just how, like, with Arizona and all the other states that we currently had in our situation, Mike Pence, like, I praised him. He did what he needed to do, thank God. But also we talked about how the dangers that they were in. We were talking about the dangers that he was in too for not doing it. Like, those people were willing to kill him because he kept doing his job.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thought. Think about it.
Yep. Levi, will you answer the phone, please? Here. Sorry, man. My son's calling me.
No,
okay.
It's okay. It's definitely impromptu.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really is. Oh.
Yeah, we're definitely just chill. But yeah, like we said, I've said before, we need leaders to be leaders in the times that they need to be leaders, and thank God there were some of them, because imagine if there weren't any. Imagine if he had more control of the situation. Imagine if Pence did do it. Imagine if other government officials did turn around and be like, yeah, this is the government now. F y'all. Forget this. Overturn the government. Everything like that. Like, that literally could have happened, but everybody else kind of, like, cowered and hid amongst everybody else with this whole shit going, with the whole fixing going on. So, like I said, weed out the...
Yeah. Let's go back to the framers of the Constitution and look at how the Constitution is drafted. The first thing they did was separate power, because they did not want to have centralized government like they had under George III, who they declared a tyrant. So they separated the powers. Congress makes law, but if Congress is going to make law, they divided that between the House and Senate. Both have to agree. And even then, just because they say we made an agreement on this, it still has to go to a third checks and balance to the president, who signs it and makes it law or vetoes it. They separated the power and created a third branch of government, the Supreme Court, to rule on the constitutionality of laws that are made in Congress. So they made it so no one branch or person would have a total say over government. But that's what Republicans were trying to do. And it just
Brent put in a comment. He said, Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. What'd Brent say?
Yeah. Yeah, he said Congress should have got more security to build up to that event. The media and Congress said repeatedly that Trump wasn't going to leave peacefully for months before that happened. Interesting.
Well,
I didn't know that.
Well, no, they did, but again, looking at powers, Congress doesn't have power over the National Guard. That's what falls under the executive branch of the president. And we know who the president was, and we know he wasn't going to send help because he wanted his rioters to do his bidding. Which is something else we learned. Yeah, which is something else we learned, that Mike Pence was in contact with the Department of Defense and anybody else that had any authority to send help to the Capitol. Donald Trump didn't lift a finger. It was Mike Pence that was calling those shots and getting that help in.
Yeah, so that just shows, again, leaders doing what they need to do in this time of need. Thank God they did.
Yes.
Like, I said that way back when this first started. Thank God we had leaders who do what they need to do in their time of need and hold our government together, because that literally was a moment that it could have fallen apart.
You know, that's why we take an oath to the Constitution, not to a party and not to ourselves. You know, it's the rules of the Constitution say this, and we have to follow it. Otherwise, we do not have a democracy.
And I mean, like, rioters were like, what, 40 feet away from Pence?
Yeah.
That was the deal?
Yep. We learned that yesterday, that the mob was about 40 feet. That's the length of a basketball court, or the width of a basketball court.
Yeah, I was going to say, the width of a basketball court, yeah.
Yeah.
I was literally going to say that. It's not far.
Not at all.
That's really not far at all. No.
And like they said, they were prepared to take him out and murder him, execute him in front of the entire world, just to have their white power, their Republican power.
Yeah, they had a literal gala there. Like, you can't say you don't expect to. No, we're not gonna kill anybody. No way. Like, it's just there for intimidation. Fuck out of here.
Right?
You're about to hang somebody. You're trying to hang people.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah.
I just can't get over it. I was gonna ask you about Clarence Thomas and this email that his wife sent. What is that deal? What's going on with that?
So I'm not really in the loop on all that. All I know is her emails are showing that she was more involved in trying to overthrow the government to keep the Tangerine Terror in power than we've realized. And hopefully before the last hearings are out, we'll know what was in those emails and what her intent was. That's what I know.
Yeah, that's kind of that's basically it. Yeah, that's what I'm reading, is that the wife was involved in it more than him. I guess just kind of just dismiss Clarence from it, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, his wife, Virginia. Man.
Yeah. So here,
emailed with conservative lawyer John Eastman, who was central in former president's efforts to overturn the 2020. But yeah, so she was emailing Eastman. He was like the epicenter of it, kind of the deal, isn't he?
All right, so I guess we just let the cat out of the bag. Eastman was going to be my dumbass of the week.
Oh, you can't. We're talking about the whole deal. We can't just dismiss information if we're talking about the whole deal.
We can't. We can't.
I'm looking at stuff. I'm learning right now on the spot and talking about it. I'm sorry. Well, throw it in there. Just say it beforehand.
Well, I wanted to talk about the DOJ first before we get into dumbass of the week, because I know we have some really, really good ones. And since we missed an episode, we're probably going to go over what we normally do on this episode. I'm just anticipating, but
okay.
Remember when Steve Bannon was indicted for he was scamming people because Congress was not going to fund building the wall, right? So Steve Bannon started his own site for people to donate so Americans can build the wall with American paid dollars, right? And not one penny went to build the wall. It all went to his pocket and other grifters. So he was indicted for scamming people.
Yeah, he pulled the original crypto scam, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But
And so now
The
we've
original
learned,
NF
yeah, we've learned Trump and his big scam, his big ripoff of his uh, election defense fund, and that people donated $250 million to, and not a penny goes to any election defense. It went into his pocket and other PACs and organizations, and the DOJ is requesting all that information because if they've already indicted Bannon, why not indict the Tangerine Terror? And the only reason Bannon's not in jail is because the Tangerine Terror pardoned him.
Of course he did. Well, can they use that in court? Can they use that pardon?
No, because he has the power under the executive branch to do that. You know, and it's absolute. You know, so that's just the way it goes on that. But
So he's sitting back relaxing and chilling, not worried about a thing because he's been pardoned.
yep, exactly,
That's silly.
exactly.
That's too silly.
But I promise you, Biden's not going to pardon him. So I believe the DOJ is going after him, and he will be indicted very soon. That's just my feeling.
Well, good. Like I said, you gotta weed them all out, man. It's not just Trump. There's more.
No,
There's plenty more.
Like I said,
We
I
know
think
that for sure.
we're looking at a Watergate style outcome after this, because after Watergate, Democrats gained a super majority in the House and Senate because of all the corruption in the Republican Party. And this is way worse, with not just the executive branch doing it, but also the legislative branch and sitting members of Congress trying to help with this coup. That's something else. In the first hearing, I learned that Scott Perry of Pennsylvania requested a pardon, and he's not the only member of Congress that has requested a pardon. And
Wait, you can request pardons?
you're not supposed to, no, because if you're requesting a pardon, that means, hey, I did something wrong and I don't want to go to jail, so help me out. It's like you're admitting your guilt by asking for a pardon.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, wait, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry, I did a crime. Mr. Pratt, it reminds me of the guy sitting in the car in his truck, and he's holding his arms up and his hands up in like prayer position. And he's
Yeah.
like, Donald Trump, please save me. And there are cops outside knocking on his door.
You know, I mean, but that's
what it
how
reminds me of, like, oh my god.
saying that's how emboldened and entitled these Republicans feel, that they can just
Man.
commit crimes out in the open and think it's okay and get away with it because they're white and in power. And that's just my opinion, but that's who's involved in all this.
That's crazy. I can't believe it, man. That's just it. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time we jump into our dumbass of the week. You already know who mine is, so you want me to go ahead and say why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so not only after all the things that you said about what, Jenny Thomas has done with him, Eastman was the one who said, no, Gore shouldn't have done it. Kamala Harris should not have that power, but we should do it anyway. That was John Eastman saying, I want my quarterback to be on performance-enhancing drugs so our team wins. And also, John Eastman, in an email in writing, sent to the president's desk a request for a pardon. Now, you have an attorney, number one. Like I said, I've been to law school. I've graduated law school. I have a Juris Doctorate, right? Right. I haven't sat or passed the bar, so I'm not an attorney. But the one thing they teach you is that an attorney should never put himself in a position to ask for a pardon, to show that they've done something criminal, that they should never do anything to jeopardize their license like Giuliani did. His license is suspended. And they should never, ever, ever be asking for pardons. Or did I start with that one? Anyway, he's a
Yeah.
dumbass. He's a total dumbass thinking I'm going to help the Tangerine Terror with this, and I'm going to get a pardon because I'm promoting all this legal bullshit that the election was fraudulent, and he did not get a pardon.
My next drop there was gonna be what a dumbass. But
So
like,
he's a dumbass. His ass is hanging out there, and he testified in front of the January 6th Select Committee, and 100 times pled the fifth.
100 times.
100 times, and they showed it in the deposition. They played it in the hearings. John Eastman pleading the fifth.
I'm sorry for the listeners. I'm literally rubbing my head.
I'm saying, man,
so dumb.
I am not gonna miss a second of these hearings, dude.
You're soaking them in, man. I really have to catch up and really like invest into it and find time this weekend. But my dumbass this week is the lady with the microphone, my favorite blonde, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Again. They keep giving her microphones. She keeps saying stupid shit, and she's blaming the shortage of baby formula, baby needs, and tampons on transgender men. She's blaming it on transgender men.
Because transgender men have periods, you fucking dumbass.
Well, she... Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go to the obvious part. Like, she's blaming it because they're getting more attention than women. Like, trans men and trans... are getting more attention than women. That's basically her cry. But then that's not the case. Again, it's because we have a literal monopoly within baby formula. We probably have a monopoly within tampons too, but you don't want to talk about that because you probably have some money in it.
Right.
But we're going to talk about trans men because that's the target. We're going to talk about that because that's what my base wants, and that's what I'm going to die on. And she's a fucking idiot. I swear.
I hate that
so
smoke and
dumb.
mirrors game. Don't look this way, look that way.
Look at this over here. Like, no, I listened to like literally 20 seconds of it, and I'm already like more angry than ever from this woman. But I have Marjorie Titan Green for Attack on Titan fans out there is what I call her. She's my favorite because I love making fun of her.
Yeah.
I keep giving her a microphone, and she's my easy target of my dumbass of the 2 weeks or week that we have had missing from Uncle. But
Yeah.
she is there. She gets it. Trophy
Man.
there. Hand it over. She's won like 6 times.
You know, she's gonna be in the Hall of Fame of dumbassery.
Yeah, she's gonna be up there definitely. But oh man, I got her shit tagged on Twitter for that reason. I'm ready for her to say something dumb, just so I can put it on show for everybody. But yes, go look into it. But I also want to shout out a few things right now while we have a podium. Look into our water shortage. It's a big issue.
Yeah.
We have a water shortage going on in the United States. Conserve your water. I'm not saying don't drink water. Please do it. It's hot. I'm dying right now. It's like 80 plus degrees in my apartment. But please make sure you're out there conserving water the best you can, because there is a water shortage now. Not to freak people out. Don't freak people. But yes, go educate yourself. Look into that. And then also one more thing, bees. We gotta start saving bees. And there's one scientific thing that they're actually doing to change that is they're classifying bees as fish, so they can be kind of preserved differently, I guess because they like work as like a school or something like that. Again, educate yourself. I gotta educate myself too, because I just got off work like right before the show started. But
Yeah.
it's really cool. But also something to educate yourself for the weekend. Definitely.
Remember, bees pollinate flowers. Without bees, you wouldn't have any flowers. There'd be no rose petals, nothing.
This is a big thing to look into. That's why I wanted to shout out there. Like, again, we want to preserve our environment. We're trying the best we can every day. I'm learning more about it at my new job, how to preserve the environment. So more of this, like, it means more to me because my youth, my young will be a part of it in the future, and they will preserve and continue doing that. I want them to have a healthy atmosphere.
Yes.
I want you to have a healthy atmosphere. So, yeah, that's my podium. I'm stepping off now.
All right. Well, something we should have done at the beginning. It's been a while, so please hit that subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the show, and click that thumbs up, the
Yes.
like button.
and hit the bell so you can see whenever we go live. Don't be afraid to talk to us in chat. Thank you, Brent, for chiming in and helping us with some space and conversation.
Yes, Brent's a great friend of the show.
Time. If you want to be, I don't mind you being a part of the show. We'll chime you in if you have something to say. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And enjoy the rest of your trip, man.
Thank you, man. I'll be home tomorrow, actually. So we'll be live next Friday.
Awesome. Let me know when the door's open.
All right, we'll do.